Welcome to Bookworm. Every story has a voice. Sit back and enjoy the story.
Shaman Pack, written by Leah Killian. Shadows of the House. Lila's heart pounded, Zane's carved knife cold in her hand as she stood inside the Stormridge Pack House's foyer. The shadow is gone as sudden as it appears, the echo of the grandfather's voice, "You shouldn't have come," still ringing like a death knell. The bush-felled night pressed against the cracked windows, moonlight filtering through mopani trees outside, casting jagged shadows. The air was heavy with dust and rust, like old blood, clashing with Lila's own scent of gardenia and fresh rain. The mate bond burned in her chest, Kale's heartbeat a wild pulse. He was close, though unseen. "He fears you," Celeste said, her voice warm but edged with warning. "But the house fears you more." Zane gripped his staff, his usual grin replaced by a tight jaw. "Blixum, Lila. This place feels like my Alma's ghost stories, but meaner." His eyes scanned the dim foyer, where dusty furniture crouched in corners and a warped staircase spiraled upward. Lila nodded, her skin prickling. The mate bond flared, Kale's heartbeat jagged with fear, his wild basil and earth, sharp and untamed scent so strong it made her sway. A shadow moved at the top of the stairs, tall, rigid, eyes glinting like coins. The grandfather. Her pulse spiked, but Celeste steadied her. "He's bound to this house," Celeste said. "Your power threatens him." The shadow vanished, but the air thickened, pressing against her chest. Lila stepped forward, knife raised. "Show yourself," she called, her voice shaky but bold. A low laugh echoed, seeping from walls, floor, ceiling. "You think you can command me, girl?" The grandfather's voice was sharp, like a blade on bone. "You're nothing." A flicker in the dark. Lila's stomach twisted, but she held her ground. "Then why hide?" Zane snorted, gripping his staff. "Yah, come out, old ghost. Let's have a word." The laugh turned to a snarl, and the air froze. Frost crept over the windows, unnatural in the bush-felled heat. Lila's breath fogged, and the mate bond surged. Kale's heartbeat raced, laced with dread. She turned, expecting him, but the foyer was empty. "Lila, move!" Zane shouted. A spectral wolf lunged from the shadows, its form flickering like smoke, eyes burning red. Older, angrier than the jackal's spirit, its claws slashed at Lila. She dove, rolling across the floor, her knife swiping uselessly. Zane swung his staff, runes glowing faintly, but the wolf passed through, snarling. "Blixum!" Zane yelled, ducking a claw. "This thing's not messing around!" Lila scrambled up, Celeste's strength flooding her. "Feel the house," Celeste urged. "Find its heart." Lila closed her eyes, her shaman senses waking. The house pulsed, alive, its energy dark and knotted, centered upstairs in a room that reeked of old blood and betrayal. Flashes came. An old man in dated clothes, a deal sealed in cruelty, a wolf howling under a bloodied moon. The grandfather. His hatred burned, rooted in a belief that love weakened the strong, that only a cruel alpha could rule successfully. Her eyes snapped open, the spectral wolf circling, its growls shaking the walls. "It's him," she whispered. "He's making it." "Who?" Zane dodged another swipe, his staff sparking. "Your ghost?" Footsteps pounded, and the door burst open. Kale stood there, dark hair wild, eyes glowing gold. His scent, wild basil and earth, hit Lila like a wave, the mate bond roaring. He gripped a runed dagger, his face a hard mask, but the bond was a storm of fear and guilt. "Get out, Lila," he shouted, voice raw. "You don't know what you're doing." The wolf lunged, but he slashed his dagger, runes flaring. The wolf howled, dissolving into smoke, but the house shook, dust raining from the ceiling. The grandfather's voice rang out, sharp and venomous, aimed at Lila. "You'll break nothing," it hissed. "You'll only bleed." Kale grabbed Lila's arm, his touch electric, his scent overwhelming. "You can't stay," he said, voice low, urgent. "He'll kill you." "Why?" Lila yanked free, her gardenia and fresh rain scent mingling with his. "Why do you care if you won't even look at me?" His jaw clenched, the bond flooding with pain, raw, jagged, like a wound torn open. "Because he'll take you," Cale said, voice breaking. "My grandfather, he thinks love makes you weak. Wants me to be like him, cruel, heartless. He swore if I claim you, he'll destroy you." His eyes dropped, voice a whisper. "I can't let him hurt you." Lila's breath caught. The mate bond pulsed, his heartbeat a tangle of fear and longing. His avoidance wasn't rejection, it was sacrifice, a shield against his grandfather's wrath. She saw it now. Cale was fighting to keep her alive, even if it tore him apart. "Cale," she started, but the house groaned, cutting her off. The air thickened, shadows twisting. The grandfather's voice laughed, cold and triumphant, locking on Lila. "She's mine now," it said. The floorboards cracked, and a massive spectral wolf erupted, larger than before, claws gleaming like steel. Its eyes burned with the grandfather's hatred, fixed on Lila. She stumbled back, knife raised, but it was fast, jaws snapping at her throat. Zane tackled her out of the way, his staff clattering. "Blixum, Lila, run!" he yelled, scrambling up. Cale lunged, his dagger slicing the wolf's flank, but it barely flinched. The house shook, windows shattering, the air heavy with malice. Lila's shaman senses flared. She saw the grandfather at the top of the stairs, his smile cruel, his power feeding the wolf. She pushed to her feet, her eyes glowing violet, Celeste's strength surging. "He wants me," she thought, Celeste pushing against Lila's chest. "Because I can end him." The wolf charged, claws aiming for her heart. Lila dodged, shift in the move, and she let Celeste take over. The grandfather's voice boomed, venomous. "You'll never leave." Cale threw himself in front, dagger flashing. The wolf's claws raked his chest, blood spraying, and he staggered, his wild basil and earth scent mixing with iron. "Lila!" he gasped, collapsing to one knee. Celeste growls, the mate bond burning with his pain. She lunged, her teeth sinking into the wolf's side. The beast howled, its form flickering, but it didn't fall. The grandfather's laugh echoed, chilling her bones. The house trembled, shadows closing in. The wolf reared, eyes locked on Celeste, a thank you clearly reflected from him, before he evaporated in a cloud of smoke. "I'm not done with you, you mine," the voice came roaring from above. Lila's hands shook as she steadied Cale, his blood warm on her palms, the packhouse floor cold beneath them. She realized the spectral wolf was captured by Cale's grandfather before he could cross over. The Bushveld night pressed against the shattered windows, moonlight fading as dawn's first glow lit the mopani trees outside. The house pulsed, alive, its energy a tangle of gratitude and malice. "We freed her," Celeste said. Cale groaned, clutching his chest, eyes dimming from gold to hazel. The mate bond burned with his pain, tugging at Lila's heart. "We need to get you out," she said, her voice steady despite the fear knotting her stomach. Zane stood guard, staff ready, his usual grin gone. "This place is worse than Oma's creepiest stories," he muttered, his sarcasm sharp but grounded. "Let's move, Macy, before more ghosts show up." Lila helped Cale toward the door, the mate bond humming with his guilt and fear. Outside, the Bushveld stirred, the sun creeping over the horizon, painting thorn trees gold and the bushes' mourning sounds. A jackal's cry cut through the quiet, raw and lonely. The air was cool, Lila's gardenia and fresh rain scent faint against the dawn's warmth. Elaine emerged from the trees, her gray-streaked blonde hair glowing in the sunrise, her weathered face tight with worry. "What happened, Macy?" she asked, rushing to Cale. She knelt, inspecting his chest, where claw marks oozed slowly, refusing to close. "Spirit wounds," Elaine whispered, only for herself to hear. "The wounds are healing too slowly. He's fighting, but it's deep." Lila's throat tightened, her humanity raw. Fear for Cale, anger at the grandfather. "Why's it taking so long?" she asked, her voice small, trembling. Elaine's eyes softened, but her hands were steady, pressing a cloth to Kale's wound. It's spirit's wounds. It cuts more than flesh. The grandfather's curse. It clings like poison. You need answers, Lila. The pack's library, older than these trees, holds them. Kale gripped Lila's hand, his touch weak but fierce, the mate bond pulsing. Don't go, he rasped, eyes pleading. He'll hurt you. Lila met his gaze, seeing the boy behind the alpha's mask. Scared, not for himself, but for her. I'm not letting him win, she said softly, her resolve human and fierce. You're not alone in this. Zane snorted, leaning on his staff. Great, now we're chasing ghosts in a library. Oma would have said we're mad. Elaine shot him a look, almost a smile. Keep her safe, Zane. She's more than you know. The pack's library stood a short walk away, its stone walls sagging among thorn trees, bathed in dawn's light. Lila and Zane left Kale with Elaine, the sunrise warming their backs. Inside, the library smelled of old paper and leather, shelves packed with dusty tomes. Lila's shaman senses tingled, drawn to a staircase descending to a basement. Creepy library, creepier basement, Zane muttered, his wit dry. Why not a sunny braai instead? Lila managed a small laugh, her nerves easing. You'd moan about the smoke. The basement was damp, lit by flickering lanterns. Runes glowed faintly on the walls, pulsing like a heartbeat. A chill brushed Lila's skin. Not cruel, but timid, like a whisper afraid to be heard. Another spirit, but not threatening. He'll trap me, the spirit whispered, like he trapped her. Who? Lila asked aloud, her voice echoing. Zane Stade looked at Lila with a question written all over his face, ready to go to action. Lila lifted her hand to show Zane must stand down. The cruel one, the spirit said, but you can see. Look. A hidden panel clicked open, revealing a leather-bound diary, its pages yellowed, runes etched into the cover. Lila's fingers brushed it, and a vision slammed into her, vivid, relentless. A VOC ship rocked on stormy seas. 1652, Dutch flags torn. Werewolves hid below deck, fleeing Europe's hunters. Kale's ancestor, a young alpha, stood at the bow, eyes glowing gold. He faced a shadowed figure, offering blood on a runed stone for power to protect his pack. The grandfather's voice hissed. Love is weakness. Rule with cruelty. The pact cursed his bloodline, binding the pack house to his will, a prison for spirits like the one Lila freed. Lila gasped, the vision fading. Zane steadied her, his sarcasm gone. You okay, Macy? It's the curse, she said, clutching the diary. Kale's family came with the Dutch, centuries ago. His grandfather made a deal, a blood pact. That's why he hates love. It threatens his control. Zane whistled low. Oma's stories were never this wild. The spirit's presence flared, urgent. He's coming, it warned. The air grew cold, rooms dimming. Lila's senses screamed, the grandfather. Shadows coiled from the walls, forming a new spectral wolf, larger than before, eyes burning red, its growl shaking the basement. Its gaze locked on Lila. You can't hide, the grandfather's voice boomed. You're mine. Lila's eyes glowed violet, Celeste's strength surging through. She gripped the diary. Zane raised his staff, runes flaring. Here we go again, he muttered, all grit, no nonsense. What will Lila find in the diary? Will Kale heal completely? How far from the pack house can the grandfather go? The bushveld is calling, Maisie, and the spirits don't wait. Subscribe, hit that bell, and like this video to join the pack for the next episode. Don't miss the howl from the bushveld in South Africa.